Welcome. We have been waiting for you to tune in to hear tales of Prince Edward Island, a place of history and some mystery. You may be surprised by the true stories that have been unearthed and brought to life by our radio dramas. We invite you to settle into a comfortable chair and let the voices and sounds trigger your imagination as you hear the following dramatic story.
The last public hanging on Prince Edward Island, and perhaps in Canada, took place on April 9th, 1869 in the city of Charlottetown. The gruesome manner in which the hanging was carried out changed the course of criminal punishment on the island. The event that precipitated the hanging occurred in the fall of 1868.
Now that we've sailed into the port of Charlottetown, what do you think we'll find, Jim boy?
I'd wager my pay that you, George Dowey, will find the same things you find in every port. Hard liquor and women.
I'm hoping the pickings will be good and ripe. After all, it's fall.
You should remember, George, you have a beautiful young wife at home in England. Many a man would envy you your Kate.
And she'll be there when I get back. What's the point of being a sailor and sailing the world if I can't sample the offerings? I won't be 23 for long.
George, a self-admitted sinner with an unholy passion for women, soon had himself an island girlfriend by the name of Flora. It was said that Flora was a good woman who never deserved what came her way by associating with George Dowey, who didn't bother to mention that he was a married man. On the night of November 26, 1868, George and Flora spent the evening together in Flora's home in Charlottetown.
Be a dear and pour me another gin, Flora.
There's no more, George. We drained the bottle dry.
Not even a little, Flora?
Not even a drop. It's too hot in here with the stove going. Let's step outside the house for some fresh air. Smell the sea and the air. The breeze of the harbor is gentle for a November night.
The perfect night for romance, Flora. Look who's coming down the street. That sailor's had too much of the sauce.
Evening, lady. You look mighty fine. Want to spend some time with a sailor?
She's my girl, you swine. I'll teach you to try and steal my girl.
You stabbed me.
My God, George, you stabbed that man. Are you crazy?
Crazy with drink and passion for you, Flora. Nobody takes what's mine.
George Dowey was sentenced to be hanged for the murder of the sailor, a crime carried out in a moment of drunken rage. The hanging was set for April 9th, 1869 in Charlottetown. Dowey spent the winter in jail, contemplating his actions. In the days leading up to the hanging, 6 Protestant clergymen spent time with Dowey, who repented for his sin-filled life. He devoted himself to the writing of poetry and wrote a 15-page letter to his poor mother and wife, Kate, back in England.
I feel at peace, now that I have repented my sins.
And you can rest in the assurance that you have received the Lord's forgiveness. He will bring you home to be with him.
You will keep your promise to me that my letter to my mother and Kate will be sent?
Of course, George. You can be assured they will read your words of apology and request for forgiveness.
I knew not my blessings, and thus abused their love.
The hanging of George Dowey on April 9th of 1869 sparked great interest among islanders. It had been a long, hard winter with few outlets for pent-up energy, and people were eager for entertainment. 1,500 people from throughout the colony gathered to watch the proceedings under the direction of the sheriff. They witnessed more than they had bargained for, as the hanging was a gruesome affair.
Bring out the prisoner. The rope has been prepared. Pull the trapdoor.
Look! The rope broke. He's still alive.
In the first attempt to take Dowey's life, the rope did indeed break, and the young man plunged 16 feet to the ground. Shaken and dazed, he was taken back to the jail while another rope was procured. 1 hour later, authorities were ready to hang Dowey for the second time.
Pull the trap door!
Unbelievable. The rope broke again.
Perhaps he is of the devil and cannot be killed.
Don't be so foolish, woman. It's obvious Charlottetown merchants are selling inferior hemp rope.
This man must be hanged. Constables, grab the rope.
The sheriff and the constables with their bare hands pulled Dowey by the rope around his neck back up onto the scaffolding. There they let him hang for 45 minutes to ensure he was dead. While it was an awful sight for the 1,500 onlookers, few turned away. The story of George Dowey does not end with his death. To raise money for his mother and his wife, Kate, the 6 clergymen involved in Dowey's last days published, by subscription, his repentance letter. But their actions were not totally for the good of charity. They wanted people to see the good that can come from religious observation and the repenting of one's ways. The Hanging of George Dowey. Introduction was by Lowell Eustis. The narrator was Stuart Smith. The actors were Ian Campbell, Brent Slater, Catherine Dixon, Jordan Stetson, Nathan Wiley, Albert Goody, Kathy Clow, and Greg Weeks. Musician was Christine Anderson Gallant. Foley artists were Krista Carruthers, Alexandra Gallant, and Paul McWilliams. Recording artist was Peter Gallant. Scripts were written by Marlene Campbell. The scripts were researched by Jean McKay. Prop managers were Carol McFarlane and Sabrina Webster. Brought to the support of Canadian Heritage and the Prince Edward Island Department of Tourism and Culture.